Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Sunday evening to you all. Hope you guys are doing well out there on this Sunday night and having yourselves a great ending to your weekend. Hope you guys had a great weekend out there and got a lot done or whatever you had going on. Hope it was great for you. And we're about to head into another week. You know, it's going to be pretty active. It's going to be pretty icy. Certain areas are already icy this afternoon, this evening. There's been a little bit of some snowflakes flying around. But, you know, today has certainly been a day where I've been watching certain areas, depending on your location, like Dallas, for example. That's a big example there. You know, your ice totals have been increasing as far as a forecasted amount expected. The forecast amount has been increasing throughout the last several hours, and that is because confidence has increased that this is going to be more of a significant icing event. Is this going to rank, you know, in some of these historic ice storms? I don't think so, but it's going to be a long duration event where you have multiple rounds of frozen precipitation. Certain areas will see sleet, maybe snow, but it's really going to be an icy setup throughout the week. So we're going to try to figure that out for you guys and try to do our best guess at this. But this is going to be a tricky situation and an evolving situation as it's ongoing and becomes more widespread tomorrow. So if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. It goes a long way, and I really appreciate the support and people viewing from different areas. It really means the world when I have people viewing from Maine or from Kansas or Oklahoma or Texas. You know, it's awesome seeing people are viewing outside the Southeast, which is kind of where I started. But if you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Give me a follow on Twitter, guys, Facebook. It's a great way to interact with me and ask questions, especially Twitter. I know more people have Facebook over Twitter, but it's a great way to interact with me. Thank you all for joining my channel. I'm up to 26 members now. You guys, I've picked up probably more over the last 10 days than ever in a period of time. So thank y'all for supporting my channel in that way. So let's get rolling here. Let's talk about watches and warnings, and let's upgrade this and see if anything's changed, and nothing really has. We're going to break this down a little bit differently. We're going to talk specifically on the South Central U.S., which includes states like, you know, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, places like that, and really talk about the entire duration of this setup specifically for that region first. We're not going to go back and forth like we've been doing over the last couple videos. It's really been confusing me, probably confusing the audience a little bit. We're going to focus on each individual region. South Central U.S., then we're going to go up to the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, and then we're going to talk about the Eastern U.S. and the fact that we could have a pretty significant shot of cold air for the Northeast as we get into this weekend. Could be the coldest air maybe in 7 years since around Valentine's Day of 2016. So it could be brutally cold. We're going to talk about that at the end of the video. But right now, winter storm watches. Look at this teal color. Winter storm watches all the way down here to Austin, Texas. I mean, this has really trended into a more significant event. Now, we'll note that, you know, winter storm warning criteria down here, which this isn't warnings yet, just watches, is certainly a lot different than it is, say, in Minnesota. You know, if you get 1/10 of an inch of ice and a little bit of sleet in certain areas of like Texas, that could prompt a winter storm warning. Now, that won't even bring up a winter weather advisory, you know, up here in Minnesota, for example. So just note that. A winter weather advisories up for areas like Oklahoma City, going through the Ozarks, areas of southern and central Missouri. You got winter weather advisories now up for St. Louis, you know, up in basically the entire southern half of Illinois, and then several counties in far western Kentucky. And in places like Evansville, Indiana, you know, you got about 5 counties there in southwest Indiana that have winter weather advisories. Now, I expect here in the next day or so, if not earlier, for these to get expanded southeast, guys, into western Tennessee, deeper into Arkansas, deeper into Kentucky, and further east into the Ohio Valley. By the time we wake up tomorrow morning, I can almost guarantee you that we're going to have winter weather advisories stretching into the Ohio Valley. I can almost bet, and then we're going to have warnings upgraded from these watches down here. So, like Dallas, guys, you have a winter storm watch. This is really trending. We look at the actual temperatures right now. This is going to blow some people's minds. Texas just does it different, guys. It is a large state, so it has that. But near, you know, just west of Brownsville, Texas, guys, right here in the most southern couple counties of Texas, it's touching almost 90 degrees, guys. But if you go up here to Amarillo, you're in your low 20s to upper teens for temperatures. Now, the Arctic front, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know where it is, right? It's right here It's kind of buckling right down here and continuing to sag south very slowly. So if you're just south of this boundary, it's into the 70s. You go about 30, 45 minutes north, head up to your buddy's house, a couple counties, a county north of you, it could be in the 30s and 40s, guys. You know, this Arctic front sagged through Dallas and North Texas earlier this morning. And Dallas, you're already flirting with freezing, and you already have reports of some freezing drizzle well west of Dallas. So it's pretty wild to see. In fact, you look at the radar right now, and, you know, I just got the radar out of Tulsa because the moisture is extremely shallow, guys. It really is. So it's very hard to see. But, you know, a little bit earlier, you had a report of some freezing drizzle well west of Dallas. So you're already getting some reports. Not as many reports down here in Oklahoma right now, but that doesn't mean it's not falling. Freezing drizzle, a lot of reports of this up here in Missouri. You even had a couple some snow flying around in areas of Oklahoma City and Tulsa and surrounding regions earlier today, if it's not still doing it. I mean, it's even snowing up here in Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska, which the moisture is very, very shallow. So chances are it's just some light flakes flying around, very, very small flakes and it's a very dry snow. So pretty wild times ahead, guys. And this Arctic boundary is pretty insane. But we keep going. So what we're going to do, like I mentioned, we're going to take a look at the South Central U.S. first. We're going to talk about ice accumulations. We're going to go over everything, and I'm going to have timestamps in this video to try to break up so you can just hear about your specific area. I don't blame you one bit if that's what you want. So we'll look at the latest long-range HRRR model, which I want to remind you guys only goes out to 48 hours. So what I want you to note here is this is around right now. Well, this is around right now. Notice there's nothing really on the map the HRRR model is showing, but you still have freezing drizzle. So that just tells you that these mesoscale models and models in general are not going to be able to fully pick up what's actually falling. And that means a lot, because if you got temperatures in the mid-20s and you have like a freezing mist or a light freezing rain drizzle, I mean, that can cause major issues on the roadways, but you might not see it on your radar on your phone. You might not. So it's just one of those tricky situations. So Dallas, you clear out from any rain this evening, and then the cold air really kind of oozes in. You get below freezing, and then you got widespread freezing rain breaking out overnight tonight in Missouri. Some snow, probably some sleet mix in. The further north you go in Missouri, you have freezing drizzle, light freezing rain falling in the Ozarks overnight tonight. If you're confused with what time frame we're at, look right here. It's 11 p.m., but back it up 1 hour because we're in Central Time. But listen, if I was a betting man, I would say you would have freezing drizzle here in the middle of the night as far southwest as North Texas, even though it's not showing up. So remember, just because you're not seeing it on your screen doesn't mean it's not falling. But we keep this going here, and this really gets kind of heavy in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas and areas of Illinois. But, you know, don't focus too much on Illinois. We're going to focus on you guys here in a second. Really keep your eyes down here. So what happens here is we're waking up tomorrow morning, ongoing, you know, freezing rain up here. Waking up tomorrow morning, this is when some freezer rain begins to blossom over areas of kind of west central Texas. Okay, and I mean, look at the pink, pretty far south. You're starting to flirt with freezing drizzle in Austin, Texas, for example. And I'd be willing to bet, this is around 8 a.m. tomorrow in Texas. I'd be willing to bet there is freezing rain reported everywhere, literally everywhere, but in a lot of locations in Texas tomorrow as cold air really begins to kind of ooze down south, and then it drops below freezing. So freezing drizzle widespread. If they have not canceled or delayed school in Dallas, I think they will overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. There's no point in delaying anything because this is going to be a couple-day event. But really what I'm watching is this convective in nature area right here between Tulsa and Oklahoma City that could really put down a burst of freezing rain and even sleet. The orange you see right here, almost got to squint your eyes. These are bursts of sleet and convective in nature. I would not be surprised, I said it in the last video, if we see some flashes of lightning and hear some rumbles of thunder as just a lift occurs with warm air advection. But you see some pink down here, widespread freezing drizzle, light freezing rain in Dallas. And then look, as we're getting into about midday, it's below freezing in Dallas. You know, right here, Dallas-Fort Worth is right into here. You're well entrenched below freezing. And then look at this. Look at this area of heavier freezing rain, sleet, even some snow mixing in. This wintry mix basically moving into areas of southwest Missouri, like Springfield, Missouri, places like that. And just a wintry mess in areas of Oklahoma right here. But you keep this going, guys, and this starts to make its way kind of further in northern Arkansas. You start to see some freezing rain in southeast Missouri as we're getting into about 4 p.m. tomorrow, give or take some hours. We're never going to be exact with some hours, but this is all freezing rain, maybe even some sleet mixed in for Dallas. I'm telling you, Dallas is going to get very close to ice storm criteria ice. Let's hope not, but prepare for the worst. I'm telling you guys. But you keep this going, you're thinking, man, this is about to wrap up, right? And then more moisture blossoms as we're getting into tomorrow overnight. More widespread freezing rain begins to kind of expand here. And then we just have another round, and this could be heavy. This is when it really turns into an ice storm, I think, overnight tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. And this is some heavy freezing rain. Sub-freezing temperatures still hanging on. The Arctic air mass isn't, as entrenched into the area, but it's still here. And, you see the oranges right here? This is waking up Tuesday morning. You have an area of pretty heavy freezing rain with some sleet mix moving into Oklahoma, southern Oklahoma. It's freezing raining like crazy, and Dallas-Fort Worth area, Wichita Falls. Man, this looks nasty. If I stop it, this is, like I said, Tuesday morning around 6 a.m. Widespread ice storm ongoing in Texas and then moving into Oklahoma. And it just continues. You finally start to get really close to inching above freezing, maybe Tuesday in Dallas, but normally you can almost bet on these setups being colder with shallow cold air. A lot of times they're colder and quicker than what models try to show, but we'll stop it right here. This is the last frame of the HRRR model that we got, which takes us to about midday Tuesday. All-out icing event, potential ice storm going on in northern Arkansas. It's cold enough aloft, meaning it's cold. There's no warm nose in areas of southern Missouri where this is falling as snow, and then a little bit of wintry mix in between the freezing rain, sleet, and snow. And then look at this beginning to enter Tennessee and areas of Kentucky. But this is the last frame of the HRRR model. It looks worrisome, I can tell you. NAM, same kind of deal. You're going to be dealing with freezing drizzle throughout the night, pretty much everywhere in those areas I just mentioned. And I mean, look at this. This is around 2 a.m. tonight. Sleet, wintry mix ongoing in the entire southeast half, basically, of Missouri. I can tell you the NAM's just flat out colder in general. But, snow, sleet, it's going to be hard. Just a wintry mix in Missouri and Illinois overnight tonight. Waking up tomorrow morning, this is when the wintry mix begins to take hold of North Texas and Central Texas. We continue to go, and here's those convective. I'm telling you, you're going to get some thunder sleet tomorrow in Oklahoma. If I was a betting man, I would say that somebody's going to get a thunderstorm of sleet. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to bet on it. I'm going to bet on it and say it's going to happen. That's part of what we do here. We don't just come on here and just show you model guidance, but I bet you sometime late tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, you're going to have some rumbles of thunder and some flashes of lightning here in Oklahoma, maybe even North Texas. But you keep this going, you're getting into about midday tomorrow. Like I said, it doesn't look like much on this, but it could. Listen, sometimes that light freezing rain adds up more than the heavy freezing rain. And, it's just because that when you got more movement from heavier rain, it has a hard time freezing. It does. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. But you keep this going here. Look at this area of sleet. This orange here, or pinkish color, that is some heavy sleet blasting through the Ozarks and moving through far southern areas of Missouri. And it's still freezing rain down here in Dallas and areas of north and northeast Texas. This is starting to kind of make its way into western sections of Kentucky and northwest Tennessee. So if you stop it right here, this is 30 hours out on the NAM. And then you look at 30 hours out on the HRRR model. One thing you'll note is the NAM really wants to put a lot more sleet with this. So we got to see what happens with this for sure. But you keep this rolling, you're getting into the middle of the night Tuesday, and just still freezing rain as far south as Austin, Texas. And then here comes another blossom of moisture. And just an all-out wintry mix deep down to Texas. This is moving through Dallas. And, definitely looks like just a wintry mess Tuesday morning. You're already going to have one tomorrow morning. But like I said, this is going to be a long-duration event. It's going to be kind of like a long-duration, light to moderate event as far as how heavy it's coming down. But it could suddenly turn into a more significant event. I mean, Dallas right here, we were wondering 2 days ago if you were just going to be rain. Now, you can go 100 miles south of Dallas, 150 miles south of Dallas, and now, it's cold enough down there to be an icing event. So this has trended much colder. It really has. And, you go all the way out to, You go 50 hours out, which takes us to about Tuesday afternoon. Now it's cold enough on Little Rock for a wintry mix. Okay, but it's borderline, and now you got freezing rain entering western Tennessee, even some freezing rain getting into Memphis, Tennessee, still ongoing freezing rain in northern areas of Texas. And then look, another area tries to pop up here as we're getting into the middle of the night, Tuesday night, not tomorrow night, Tuesday night. So it just keeps going, guys. It really does. So I hope that helped. But listen, this is a long duration event. I know you're like, this doesn't seem that bad to me. It doesn't even look like a lot of moisture, but it's the long duration nature of this that's really gonna just be wild. Let's see if there's any updated forecast for right now. The latest run, yes, they've increased it. Yep. So not surprised at all. I had the old panel up, but this is the latest one, guys. This is bad. You know, I'm not trying to hype anything up, but this is certainly alarming, guys. The heart of Texas could potentially get close to a half an inch of ice now. Okay, and now for Dallas, right here, Dallas-Fort Worth, you're getting very close to a quarter inch of ice in your forecast. Okay, so, but man, I mean, look at this. Almost a half an inch of ice deep down in Texas. I mean, so, yeah. I know I'm not gonna try to pretend I know every single town and city in the heart of Texas. Abilene, I think you're gonna get hit by a pretty significant ice storm. I think with this, I think you're right in the epicenter. You saw some snow around this time last week. Well, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, but now you're getting ice this week. So pretty active winter weather in parts of Texas and Oklahoma over the last week or so, and then you get into areas of and you know, look at the national blend of all models here, and we got to go down to ice and what this shows here. But really, we're just, you know, it's the same kind of deal. Really, we're just going to keep focusing in on the National Weather Service here. But we go, same thing. We'll have to upgrade it here to the 22Z one. Same kind of deal, guys. I mean, you got ice storm criteria ice. A quarter inch or more ice is when you start to get, it starts to get bad, especially with really cold temperatures. You know, they're not calling for much up here in Oklahoma City or Tulsa, but I feel like you need to bump. I feel like you could definitely see icing up here to Tulsa and Oklahoma City, but I think southern Oklahoma is in for an ice storm. And really, you keep going here. I'm really confused about what they got going on here in areas of Arkansas. I really think the ice should be more down here. And in fact, you know, if you see it in Arkansas, I think that you can bump up these totals here in northern Arkansas. I think there's going to be a little bit more freezing rain, but as you can tell, you know, certainly some hefty freezing rain amounts showing up. And really, look at eastern Arkansas. I mean, in Memphis, the National Weather Service wants to say that, hey, you could get a 1/10 to a 1/15 of an inch of ice. And some worrisome ice totals beginning to sneak into western Tennessee. Nothing too crazy, but you're starting to get close to that quarter inch mark. That really is when you start to get issues with breaking of tree limbs, losing power. That quarter inch mark. But when you get the half inch mark, that's really when you start to get into a devastating ice storm for sure. But it's a tricky thing, and you know, I would like to actually look at the national blend of all models here and see what it shows with this. And I like this a little bit better for areas of like Arkansas. I think that, you know, you could get a little bit more ice than this, but in general, it pretty much agrees with the National Weather Service for sure here. So let's talk about the Ohio Valley now. We spent about 20 minutes on them on the south central U.S., but we need to talk about the Ohio Valley. So there's going to be a couple waves here too. Same deal as here and it was in Texas and Oklahoma and places out back southwest. You know, this evening, not a lot going on. Maybe some patchy snow showers, maybe some sleet, freezing rain. But as we're getting into about 10 p.m., you got some freezing drizzle, light freezing rain entering Indianapolis, even patches of it beginning to enter western Ohio, some light snow, potentially in southern sections of Michigan, some snow showing up close to Chicago, and just an all-out wintry mix beginning to enter the picture. And then we'll take it all the way to about, let's just take it out to about 7 a.m. Wintry mix ongoing, an area of freezing rain leaving Missouri and starting to enter southern sections of Illinois where you could have a wintry mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. The HRRR model says it's not quite cold enough in Evansville, but I can almost bet tomorrow morning will be below freezing in areas of southern and southwest Indiana where it shows green. I bet you it will be. But, For example, you might start out as a little bit of freezing rain. I'm sorry, guys. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so just starting to run out a little bit of gas, but I still got a good bit of the video left here, but we're going to keep it rolling. We're good. A little bit of light snow, maybe burst of moderate snow in Indianapolis after starting out as maybe some freezing rain overnight tonight. And then this area of kind of winter weather, frozen precipitation, not big, will begin to enter Ohio into the late morning hours. And then, Columbus, Dayton, and, Cincinnati could certainly see a mix of sleet and snow. That's certainly possible, and this continues to head out. But then, watch this. Another area begins to enter the picture right into here, and we actually could switch it to the Kentucky and Tennessee right here. And here it goes. Let's go back to the 18Z and get this out the way. And here comes the other area. This is the next area. After this, some colder air aloft and at the surface has oozed a little bit further south. So therefore, look at this. A wintry mix began to move in Monday evening for southern sections of Illinois and Indiana. This could be further north. It could be. And then some nasty freezing rain entering Kentucky from west to east. And also, guys, entering areas of northwest Tennessee. It's getting very close to you guys. And now, you stop it right here. This is for the for early Tuesday morning of the 31st. Here in the next 48 hours or so, you got an all-out wintry mix for, areas of Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, seeing it, Bowling Green, Paducah, where the orange is showing up, that's sleet, the blue is more so snow. But this is a nasty wintry mix moving in tomorrow night into Tuesday morning for Kentucky. But look at this freezing rain down into Tennessee. That's knocking on the doorstep of Nashville. It'll be freezing rain in Memphis. And this would be issues. And we go about 48 hours out, and here comes another area about to enter the picture. Okay, so round after round after round. We look basically, and when I said the round after round, if you look at the very tail end of the HRRR model, look at this. Here, first off, let's go through all of them. First round right here moves through overnight. This blasts through the Ohio Valley. Next round is a little bit further south. Cold air oozes south. Jet in general kind of notches south. And then here comes another big area of frozen precipitation moving in Tuesday morning across northern Arkansas, moving out of Oklahoma, moving into southern Missouri. And this could really cause icing concerns for Kentucky, areas of Tennessee, and certainly, obviously, it's already doing so at this point in northern Arkansas. And I'm going to be interested to see what the next HRRR model shows for this kind of third area of frozen precipitation that moves through. But for the Northeast, guys, what it looks like for you guys, this moves through some snow. Tomorrow morning could blast through areas of Pennsylvania, western New York State. Not a big deal. Some of this could be heavier bursts. The latest HRRR model, though, shows, as we're getting into the middle of the night tomorrow night, maybe an area of moderate, maybe heavy snow for areas of southern New England. You got some snow up here on top, too. It's going to be snow flying around, some pretty cold temperatures in the interior Northeast. And then we watch this area behind it. This could give West Virginia, even outside the higher elevations, a nice burst of snow. Who knows? Maybe some accumulating snow. But, you continue to watch this, and this is trying to bring a little bit of snow into the wee hours of the morning, Tuesday morning for New York City, Long Island, and even down to Southeast Mass, Rhode Island. So we got to watch that. And some of those models were wanting to get a little crazy with this and developing a coastal low and kind of bringing maybe more of a significant snow event for the Northeast, but they've kind of backed off. But we certainly need to watch this area down here. There could be some light snow flying around maybe Tuesday sometime in the Mid-Atlantic. Washington, D.C. could get some flurries. I think it's certainly possible down there. But, we already mentioned that's coming. But let's talk about icing potential and what we got going on with this. But first off, we'll look at snow, and we'll look at the latest one. I need to pull out all the latest one here. Weird glitch going on there. But this is potential snow between now and through about Wednesday morning. So widespread just dusting totals. Maybe somebody can get a half an inch. Maybe somebody can sneak in an inch of snow, especially in West Virginia. But outside of that, not a big deal. Freezing rain totals, not very high in these areas. What's up with the weird glitch? Come on. But a glaze of ice tomorrow, throughout the night tonight into tomorrow morning is certainly possible. It's likely. You'll probably wake up in areas of Illinois and Indiana with certainly a glaze of ice on all surfaces, bushes, your cars, things like that, metal surfaces. Is it going to be enough to cause road issues? I don't think so, but certainly something we need to watch. If we look up here in the Northeast with this snow, you could potentially get a dusting of snow outside with this. I don't think this is going to be a big deal by any means for you guys, but certainly a dusting of snow, maybe an inch of snow possible for areas of Pennsylvania and New York State. And then look at this. You got a 10th to a 20th of an inch of snow showing up for areas in the Mid-Atlantic and the Del Mar area. They're really confused on, how widespread this snow could potentially be for you folks as we're getting into Tuesday. I have a hunch it's going to be a little bit more widespread than what some of the models are showing, but we'll dive into that tomorrow probably a little bit more when we can see what some of this model guides are showing. But this snow you see up here is really the snow that's been falling today. But we keep moving here, and just to zone in on this area of the Mid-Atlantic, for West Virginia, probably in the middle of the night, tomorrow night, you probably could get some burst of snow that could maybe drop a few inches of snow in West Virginia. We'll watch this, but it's almost like West Virginia just zaps up all the moisture for you folks in areas of Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., places like that. But then you still get some moisture. Look at these areas of blue showing up. It'll certainly be cold enough in Washington, D.C. to maybe midday Tuesday or sometime during the day Tuesday. You can get a wintry mix, maybe some snow flurries flying around in these areas in the Mid-Atlantic for sure. So next thing we'll talk about, guys, and this is something that's, we're pretty far out. Not really far out. We're a few days out. But there's some pretty high confidence that maybe the Northeast sees their coldest air in maybe about 6 or 7 years. And the thing about this cold air mass, it's going to be very fleeting. It's going to move in and move out, but it's going to shock some people. So literally a piece of the polar vortex, here it is right here, starts to dive down Friday, blast through Friday into Saturday, delivers an extremely cold day Friday into Saturday, and then heads on out. And then the ridge builds in. So what does that mean as far as temperatures? Well, this is Thursday high temperatures already, looking pretty chilly for the blend of all models, which is going to keep things more realistic, I would say. Look how hot, Florida is. It feels like summer down here in Florida. But then we go into Friday. These are high temperatures for Friday. You're starting to get below freezing for New York City to Boston. And then we look at the high temperatures for Saturday. And I think they could be colder than this, guys. I really do. And I don't even have low temperatures up. But this is, and we can look at low temperatures too. Let's look at actual low temperatures. These is potential low temperatures. This is the blend of all models, guys. Potential low temperatures for Saturday morning, guys. I mean, you're getting close to the single digits in Washington, D.C. Certainly single digits once you get north. New York City flirting with the 0 degree mark. Boston, you're well below 0. And then the interior Northeast, I mean, you're well below 0. All of Maine locked into at minimum 15 degrees below 0. So this cold air is going to, even though it's kind of a Northeast kind of shooting mass of cold air, there's going to be a nasty, probably very cold Northeast flow that's going to bring some pretty cold temperatures down into the Southeast too. I think it's going to be a pretty cold weekend as far south as the Southeast. And we'll go at high temperatures. I mean, only for 40s and 30s for highs in the Carolinas. And really, it's going to be the further northeast you get, closer to this piece of cold air that's flying through aloft, the colder it's going to be. It's pretty much that simple. But you turn around, getting a Sunday, and you're warming back up into the 40s in New York City. So you literally go, it's pretty wild, based off the blend of all models. You go from highs struggling to get out the single digits to in the teens to highs in the 40s in New York, Saturday to Sunday. So it's going to be tricky. Now, one thing I'll watch here is there's going to, this high pressure is insane. I mean, look, you got a 1050 high pressure showing up on the GFS moving into Saturday morning. Insanely cold air mass moving over the Northeast. So once this immediately gets on the east side of the Appalachian Mountains, you get an incredible Northeast flow coming out here, and then you get a cold air damming setup. Whether you actually get moisture, not sure. But I can tell you, if you get any kind of low pressure that pops off the coast of the Southeast here, you're going to get a major winter storm for areas of the Southeast. And, some models are hinted at it. The latest GFS doesn't show it anymore. But if you go 2 runs back, here you go. This was this morning's run. It has the low pressure with the cold air damming. You see the buckling of the isobars. That is cold air feeding from this high pressure east of the Appalachian Mountains, which was right here with the low pressure. This blue symbolizes an L, which is low pressure. But, that's not the case, and nothing's in the forecast. It's just something we need to watch because it's suppressed right now. We all know sometimes suppression can trend northwest in time. But, and here it is. You look at it, the last bit of moisture shoots through, and here comes this extremely cold air mass that blasts through the Great Lakes and then to the Northeast. But where's the moisture? If you were to keep this going here, Sunday morning, it does try to pop off some moisture right here with some lingering cold air. But at this point, this high pressure is way out in the Atlantic Ocean. It's not really there anymore. But listen, if you got any of this moisture that moves into the southeast, or some kind of low pressure that throws moisture back into the southeast, it's going to spell trouble for icing. I'm not honking the horn at it or anything, but it's just something you need to watch. But, this was the run this morning. There was a couple other crazy runs that showed it. But outside of that, the Canadian model shows a pretty wild scenario of this where, here we go, here it is. Big time cold air damming system, a lot of freezing rain for the southeast. But we'll watch this. This is going to be something that we need to watch. But honestly, nothing concerning because it's not consistent on any model guidance right now. So the Euro doesn't show anything. I'm out of breath, guys. That's all I got. Stay safe out there. It's going to be a pretty icy week out there. God bless all y'all. Have a good evening, and I'll be with you in the morning.